Hello everyone. Today we're going to look at integration of even and odd functions. So the theory says if you have a function which is integrable on a closed interval minus a to a, that's the key guys here. Not only has the function to be integrable, but the interval has to go from minus a to a. Then, if the function f is an even function, so when we integrate from minus a to a, fx dx is the same as going from 2 times 0 to a fx dx. Makes my life simpler because you don't get, involved with negatives here. On the other hand, if a function is an odd function, then the integral from minus a to a fx dx is simply 0. Pretty easy, isn't it? So keep this in mind. If you have a function integrable from minus a to a, that means the lower and the upper limits of the integrals are negative in signs of each other. They're the signs are opposite. The value is the same, but the signs are opposite. And if the function happens to be odd, you just don't even think, simply the answer is going to be 0. Whereas, if the function is an even function, then that integral will become twice 0 to a fx dx. Okay, let's look at some examples. We would like to evaluate the integral using even and odd. Now, first thing notice is minus 2 to 2. Okay, it's getting right. Now we have to test the function inside. Is it even or odd? Now, I can open this function and write this as minus 2 to 2 x4 plus x squared dx. Now, to test the even and odd, remember, if it is an even function, f of minus of x equals f of x. That's for the even part. Okay? Now, let's test this one first. So, f of minus x will be what? Minus x to the power 4 plus minus x to the power square. Clearly, it is an even function. So this one is an even function. So by the theory we just read, this is now going to be equal to 2 from 0 to 2 x4 plus x squared dx. And then just we do the integrals, apply the first fundamental theorem of calculus, we are done. Okay, let's do the math. It's 2 x5 over 5 plus x cube over q 0 to 2. Now remember, this is the entire derivative f of x, which is now equal to 2 times f of 2 minus f of 0. Okay, now going further, 2 is what? What is f of 2? 2 to the power 5 over 5 plus 2 to the power cube over q. That's f of 2 minus f of 0 is pretty simple, it's a 0. So the whole thing is in the hands of f of 2, which is 2 times 32 over 5 plus 8 over 3. And when you do the math, it comes out to be 272 over 50. Okay, so that was an example of an even function. Let's do an example here. Now, remember even and odd. We talked about an even function, so remember, even function is when f of minus x equals f of x. That's even. What is the odd function? F of minus x equals minus of f of x. Okay. Now let's look at the integral. What are the limits? Are they negative in signs of each other? Minus 1 and 1? Yes. Now the testing is of this function x cubed plus x. So what is f of minus x? Minus x the whole cube plus minus x, which gives me minus x cubed minus x. Take the minus out, you have x cubed plus x. which is minus f of x. Clearly, this function is an odd function. And if it's an odd function, wow, it's simple. It is equal to 0. Nothing doing. Now let's look at one example from the trig world. Here we look at minus pi to pi. So the limits are according to the rules. Now let's look at sine x and cosine x. Okay. Let's look at what is f of minus x, which is, remember this is f of x, guys. Keep this in mind always. Sine of minus x and cosine of minus x. Now we all know that sine of minus x is minus sine x because sine is an odd function, whereas cosine is an even function. So, doing the math here, this is minus sine x times cosine x, which is minus f of x. So clearly, the function, this is an odd function. As this is an odd function, minus pi to pi, this function is 0. Okay, guys, I would like you to practice these problems. So these are 4 problems, and they are related to the even and the odd. So go ahead, practice these problems. Thank you.